Welcome to Dangerous Dangerous. You wanted an interview, so we got you one, with the lovely Johnny Manchild. We first heard his music on the radio, and hopefully this interview won't put you to sleep, but will instead clear you of any insomnia you have.
A
Comedy. Comedy is finest.
Now, without forcing as many titles of songs as we can, how are you doing today, Johnny?
I am doing pretty good. It's one day out from tour, so just getting ready for that.
Yeah, so we also wanted to ask you how you're feeling about this tour, because it's like quite a hard thing to see these days, a musician doing a tour every so often.
Yeah, you know what? I'm feeling great because it's kind of my favorite thing to do, and it's the thing that I've gotten to do the least of. I think we were starting to hit a stride in 2019, and then COVID kind of came along, and so it took about 2 years to kind of recover from it. But now we're kind of full steam ahead and touring, and I'm excited. It's the only thing I want to do, honestly. I love doing it.
Yeah, how did COVID treat you? Like, as someone who really likes to tour.
So, you might not think this from, everything that I've done with YouTube and Patreon and all that, if you're aware of that, but I'm not extremely into the whole content creator thing. And during COVID, I kind of had to become one to survive. And so I think a lot of my career has turned into that. And so it's been weird, kind of transitioning, and I'm trying to get people to kind of go along with the idea that, I'm not just really wanting to make videos and do all that thing, but I'm more wanting to, be a band. A lot of people kind of mistakenly think that I'm like a YouTube creator who also has a band, and it's kind of the other way around.
Right. So
but yeah.
Was it last year? Was during COVID? Wasn't it that We Did Not Ask This Room came out? And
Yeah.
How is it like? Did you record it before COVID, or is it during COVID, all being recorded?
We recorded it during COVID. We recorded it in January of 2021.
How are those struggles like around recording and then like in a situation where you can't really like directly communicate with bandmates?
Well, so we all lived together for the most part at that time. So we were still having practices, and that's why we got really tight during that time. And the studio that we were at, there was like nobody else there because of COVID, and we actually got really good rates and stuff. And so it kind of helped in a weird way. It helped everything except for touring.
So it was actually... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was a little helpful. I became a better musician because I spent most of my time practicing.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So COVID was weirdly a positive in letting you focus on what you wanted to do.
I think we made it a positive as much as we could, yeah. And during COVID also, the whole format of the band kind of changed. And I'm not sure how aware everybody really is of this, but like I kind of took ownership of the band a little more than I had before, in a way that now I run the band. It's more of a project where like the members change. I work with different people. It's different than it used to be. I think the band started when I was in college, and naturally, because of that, it was like any normal band. We did stuff as a band, as a group, and now it's a little bit more of a solo-led thing with a group of other musicians that I really like.
See.
So yeah, and some people really like, some people love some of our old members, and it's generated this really fun, I call it the MCU, like the Manchild universe. It's generated this fun this fun lore that people have associated with different members of the band, which I think is really, awesome. Even if they're not in the band anymore, I still think it's great.
Yeah, brilliant.
I must say, not say, but I was going to ask, right? How did you get to the point of like making music, right? Or like, because you were from like military music school or something like that. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Oh well, I was playing music since I was 8. In my first band, I was a drummer in my first band when I was 10. And so I joined the Army band to pay for college. Like I knew I wanted to go to school for music, and I didn't have a way to do it because I couldn't afford it, and so I joined the army to pay it off. And so it's always been, a part of my life. The military was just a stepping stone. I am not the kind of person that you would think of as a military type. It's just not really who I am.
So,
But no, music has been around.
did that kind of end up to you going to university to specialize in anything?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I was in the jazz band, and I really liked jazz, and so I ended up a jazz performance major in college, and I was a percussionist specifically. And while I was in college, I had already been playing piano, but I really fell in love with piano. And so that it all kind of just happened. I don't know. Again, music has always been a part of my life, but I kind of just picked instruments up really quickly during my teenage years, and it kind of crystallized in college really heavily towards piano.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Makes sense.
Because you can really see those roots in kind of like piano and jazz being incorporated into almost everything in your songs. And I think what's really interesting from the single you put out a month ago, Code Red, is it kind of takes a step away.
Well, okay, so let me explain that. Some people have been getting a little bit confused about the Johnny Manchild stuff. And so if you're part of Patreon, you might notice on Spotify it specifically says, this is not the band page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that is specifically music that has generated from the Patreon, and it's joke music. I have this segment called Wheel or More Wheel, where I literally spin a wheel and people will comment a genre and a lyric, and I have to use their lyric and genres to create songs. And so that's not JMPB. That's an entirely separate thing. So that Code Red song was just a little, that's a funny side project that I do just with fans on Patreon.
For a joke project. Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant.
It sounds amazing.
What would you say is the most outrageous lyric you had to work with? What was the dumbest and funniest?
It was absolutely, I like trucks, my girlfriend is a truck.
Oh,
We heard that
perfect
too.
link. yeah. Perfect link, because now I get to ask you, right? What kind of truck is your girlfriend? That is perfect.
I would have
What
to
kind of truck?
assume. I'd have to assume it's just an F-150,
I mean,
a big solid truck.
You're calling
I mean-
your girlfriend a big solid truck.
Damn.
I would say so.
I mean, he's honest, right? You gotta respect that. He's honest and he loves trucks.
Very
There's a whole song
respectable.
about it.
But yeah, no, that music. Part of me is there may be a point in the future where that music has to come down, only if people begin to be completely unable to separate it from what I'm doing with my actual band, I might have to take it down. But as of right now, it's fine.
Can we see the corn song happen? Can we make this official?
Oh God, I just won't do it.
Is there a backstory behind your hatred for this unfortunate food?
I
I
don't.
paid for this Patreon. You can't do this to me.
Corn.
I
We all
don't-
love corn.
I don't know how it started. I don't really understand it to begin with. It's just people. It kind of reached the boiling point because I was doing this live stream thing for this venue, and they took over the comment section, and the venue actually asked me, "What is this about corn?" And it bled into real life, and I was just like, "This is." It was a really low quality joke that for some reason just kept going and going and going. So yeah.
The corn song is a personal favorite of mine. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Oh man. Yeah.
Mine's is the truck. I'm a big truck fan. Right? I love trucks. I'm a big trucker. I drive trucks everywhere.
Thank you.
I
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chris.
Chris.
Going a little far into the truck lore here.
Perfect.
So, speaking of funny songs, within the Johnny Manchild project, what would you say is your favorite song you've made?
With the joke thing, or
Just with your serious, kind of main
Oh.
stuff. What was your favorite song to make?
I really liked making Resolve.
Why is that?
It was really involved. I will say that record and that song included is a little overwritten, but it was really fun to make. I think that record, We Did Not Ask for This Room, was definitely it was an album that I needed to make as a college musician. Like, it was really heady, really kind of nerdy. I geeked out. I overwrote it. It was over arranged, and I like a lot of the stuff on it. But I think I needed to get that out of the way so that I could write other stuff.
Right. So asking about, in general, like, theming with albums, would you say, like, with We Did Not Ask for This Room, is there any kind of theming with it? Because I've been quite looking into it a bit, maybe too much.
No, the theme was definitely one of kind of, how do I describe it? It was one about isolation and trouble with writing, something I write about a lot. But also it was more specifically dealing with, problems with suicidal ideation and stuff like that, and just finding my way through that, both with like friends or on my own and everything. Like, it was kind of about that a lot. A lot of it had to do with suicidal thoughts and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like grasped a bit of that in the album. Like, in Lovely, it seems like a lot of like self-hatred and like kind of resilience to write music.
For sure. I mean, and I'm still working on the whole self-deprecation thing, but yeah, definitely a lot of that throughout the album, for sure.
And I think it's just really smart the way it all comes through, the feel of each song, the titles. It all really weaves together quite well. And
well, thank you.
It's masterful, honestly.
Yeah.
Me and Vin are both quite long-time fans now, and it's really good to talk. Kind of see how we felt about this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, Johnny Manchild, it's a great project. What about your side projects? Specifically Queen of Hearts and working with Alpharad.
Oh, that wasn't my side project, really. I was an engineer for him, for Ace of Hearts. And I don't work with him anymore. But yeah, it was just I own my own recording studio, and I record lots of different bands, and he was one of the people that I worked with. He just happened to be one of the most famous people that I worked with.
I see.
It's always unfortunate with that kind of stuff, because it kind of ends up being overshadowed a little.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this new record is about for me, and I'm really excited about it. We finally, after 7 years, almost 8, we got management. I've got a booking agent, and we're finally, we're about to start finding a new audience and expanding the one we've already got. And that's the thing too, is like the Ace of Hearts project. I think it seems like it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, what I'm doing now, like, Johnny Manchild is literally, that's how everyone knows me. Like, nobody calls me by my actual name anymore, and it's definitely something that I'm going to be doing for a long time. So I'm excited to hopefully have a record that moves past some of the other stuff I was working on, like the side projects.
As a random question, could we expect to see any guests on this new project?
Not on this record. I am wanting to, after this album, venture out and do some single collaborations. I don't know who with, but yeah, I want to do that. I like working with other people.
And for
probably not with Jacob, but
yeah. This album, can we expect any news on this with the tour?
like news on the record, or what do you mean?
So just any kind of new news regarding new Manchild music, really. Will we see any teasers?
We've got, I'll tell you this, we've got a new single. I think it's going to drop in December. I don't have a specific date yet, but we'll have a few singles. The record is slated to come out sometime next March.
Wow.
So it's coming.
Johnny Manchild, Christmas song. Let's go.
We've already had that.
Listen.
Yeah, we have already had that.
That is the thing too. Is I don't. It's definitely not a Christmas song, but it'll be a nice Christmas gift. But I don't have any. A lot of people want I guess what I could call fan service. Like some people want another like One Big Beautiful Sound type song. Some people want Christmas songs, but like while I appreciate everybody who does listen, and it's like, you know, means everything to me that they do, I don't have any interest really in doing something I've already done for the most part. So this record is a new thing. I think people are gonna dig it, but it's definitely not anything I've done yet. It's different.
I mean, fair enough. But right, very sudden question. Right, okay, it's something that you totally have at Christmas this time, right? Because we talked about Christmas for one sentence only, right? What is your favorite soda? Heck question, very serious. What is your favorite soda?
My favorite soda?
As per a fan's request.
Yeah, we asked a friend, and this was their question.
I'm simple. I like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
That is the best answer you possibly could have given.
It's my favorite.
Personally, disagree.
Oh
I can't
my
argue with
God.
the man-child.
This will become a
You know,
different episode.
okay, if I'm being real,
Oh?
that's my go-to, but my favorite, that you can usually find at some movie theaters is RC Cola. I like RC Cola, and that's a little bit, I know that might not be as much of a favorite, but I do love it.
We do not have that in the UK. We will have to try and track this down.
Yeah, we can probably
I don't even
import
think
some.
for Scotland, I don't even think it exists. I think if you ask any Scottish person that, they're gonna say like, "What the fuck are you talking about, mate?"
Oi, language, mate.
Coca-Cola, and that's it. Like, I think that's the best that we can think. But anyway,
Thank
moving
you.
from the very
Thank you
sun-
for the very serious answer.
Chris with the insightful question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a very very insightful question.
Now,
to, like,
Chris, did you have another question that you were on to ask?
a more genuine one, right? And it's just kind of like about doing your Persona cover, and then also your like ties to like Persona along with that. And then after that question, I'll just ask maybe, what do you like in terms of games or anime? If you like anime, like I don't know.
Okay.
Just cause.
I never actually played Persona. I remember Jacob turned me on to that song, and that was really like, he was just like, I think you should cover the song and we should make a video about it. And I was like, okay, cool. And I did. And
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, no, it was fun to make. We made it in like 4 hours.
What?
Wow.
Wow, that sounds incredible for 4 hours.
Well, thank you. But yeah, we made it in like 4 hours, and that video kind of blew up. And I'm not much of a gamer. I don't watch anime.
Shocking.
I'm not much of a gamer. I play Civ 6 a lot. I'll say that.
I
That's
can respect that.
understandable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
It's not a super. I don't know. I play that. I play Apex Legends as well. A little bit.
Oh.
And then
That's
during-
more of a hardship than actual enjoyment. Like you're just like, oh, let me sit down and play Apex Legends for once. I'm sure this would be a nice break, and then
12 minutes later.
walk away achieving nothing. You
Pretty
achieve
much.
nothing.
My main thing. This is because of COVID, but during COVID, I got really into Rocket League. So I'm pretty good at that. I'm not that good, but I'm pretty good, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, is probably the right word in this
Come
situation.
on. Come
Yeah.
on.
However, I can respect it. So if it's not really the nerdy stuff that Chris suggests, what kind of things do you like to do in your free time?
Oh no,
Sorry.
don't get me wrong. I like nerdy stuff. I like Magic the Gathering. I fucking love Dungeons and Dragons and shit. It's just I'm not too much of a gamer.
Oh, nice.
Me and Vin
I,
actually have both played those quite a bit recently.
It's awesome. And I did just buy Starfield, but my computer isn't good enough to fucking play it.
Oh
so-
yeah, I know that. I know that story.
Don't worry. You don't have my laptop, so you can at least you can play games. Mine's just like explodes.
Oh no, my computer crashes every time I try to play it. But
Oh,
no,
boy.
I spend most of my time playing music, practicing, doing that kind of thing. And honestly, like this band has become so much of it really is a business. I spend a lot of time doing business fucking work, you know? God, I don't even know. I think I just dropped like $19,000 just in the last 10 days, just working with different people. So like it's become most of my time is just working with different people, contracts, and working on the music side of things, planning tours, getting merch lines ready. Like it's that's the only reason. I think I would game more if I didn't have so much of that going on.
Mm.
It's just been busy, and I love it. Like I really love it. But yeah, I'm not much of a gamer, and I know that's upset some people a little bit.
Yeah, you're like you've lost like 5 listeners, but you've gained like another 10.
Yeah.
So don't panic.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't think we did find an audience from me working with Jacob, but I think that we have an even bigger audience out there. The thing that I like about the audience we found, it's not I don't relate with the games as much, and I don't relate with the anime. But the thing that I do like that I think is a relatable thing is like we've all had problems with like depression and different mental illnesses. We've got a really big LGBTQ fan base, and I identify with them obviously, and like I think that is the prevailing audience, and the one that I am most interested in pursuing. Um, so none of it's bad. Like I have no regrets about the Persona thing or about how any of that stuff blew up. I think it led to a really cool fan base. Like there's people like y'all calling up and asking questions. That's fucking cool in the first place that you guys are overseas and that you like the band.
I mean, to be honest, it's great then if you're like actually enjoying the interview as well, because like it means we're not wasting your time as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The way I see it is I'll tell you I am almost at the point that I don't think I can reasonably do stuff like this, but until I get to the point where I really truly can't answer everyone's questions and do these little things, I'm going to try and do it because I do enjoy it. And yeah, depending on how this next record goes, I might not reasonably be able to talk with everyone that wants to, but literally until that becomes impossible, I'm going to do it because I appreciate you guys listening.
And we really appreciate you taking the time for this.
Yeah, this is huge for us.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Not even like huge for us, it's just great. Like we're happy. We're very happy about this.
or you could say, Chris, that this is huge for us.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I meant?
if you're seeing this this new record as kind of the step into a bigger audience, would you say you're generalizing your music to be more of a widespread audience through it?
Okay. Not exactly. I think the next record I might be doing that a little bit, but it's not with intention to do that. I'll say this. I've always liked grunge music.
Ooh.
Like I grew up with punk and grunge, and I grew up listening to like Garbage and fucking the Dead Kennedys and Bad Brains and Weezer, Smashing Pumpkins, all that shit. I grew up with a lot of that stuff, and I think that during college, I really fell in love with piano. I experimented and did a lot of stuff with that, but now I'm kind of coming back to this other side of music that I really dig, and so a lot of this album is a lot heavier. There's some really heavy shit on it, verging on punk / grunge, and there's still piano all over it. There's a ballad on it that I really like. There's actually 2 ballads, both very different, but like I think this record is a lot more of a rock grunge alternative record. It moves away from jazz for the most part, although I will say there is still a track that is I got like a full jazz ensemble horn section on it, and it just sounds amazing. But I think this is just like a more concentrated dose of everything that I've
Shut up!
My apologies.
Oh
Really
my!
long.
I was gonna say the exact same thing, and you stole it from me. I was gonna ask like it's like We Did Not Ask for This Room, kind of like a transitional album because it has like elements of that. Like even the song Dose has elements of a much like grungier kind of heavier song.
I went into that record with a lot of intention because I was basically saying, I told the band this and I said, like, look, I want to do some weird shit, and it might not be the most successful record ever, but if I can get the fan base to accept this as an album that I've made, then that will mean it'll transition me into other areas that I want to play with. Instead of there being like a hard line between one album to the next, I was like, let's just mess with all these different things that I like, and then I can have the freedom to do other shit. And also that's why it wasn't cartoons for the artwork. I was like, I want to do other stuff, and if the audience can accept it, then I can do different things from now on, and I'm not in as much of a box as I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how
Pretty
that's
smart, yeah.
definitely a good move to expanding it whilst keeping old fans. Because, interestingly enough, I kind of came from the other way around. I used to be very into like hard rock, grunge, punk, pop punk, that kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
was introduced to you through Vinny, who is here with us. And I think it's quite interesting because seeing that development, I'm really excited to see where it'll go with those kind of elements being incorporated in.
I think it's cool, and I will say this. So I'll give you kind of the scoop on what happened. I decided that the only way that I could continue this band and still be happy with it was if I took control over it, which I already wrote everything. I've always written all the music and all the lyrics and everything, but like I did lose some friends over this. I'm not even gonna lie, but I kept the ones that were really important, I think. But with this record, I told Ethan, my drummer, I was like, hey, let's just take you and me, let's go into the studio and let's play everything ourselves. Like let's make choices for the composition and production of this record only for what works the best. Like no worrying about anyone's ego, no worrying about anyone, like can they or can they not play the part. Like we know we can do it. Let's go in there, and every single choice will serve the music. And so we went into the studio. We would jam it out in the room. He would play the drums, I'd go to the piano and the guitar and the bass. Ethan played bass on one song. And then we had the record recorded. We brought the horns into the studio back in Oklahoma, and I wrote all the horn parts. They recorded them. Like I had a lot more control over every aspect of this record, because it's not. This was the first record that isn't a band. It was like my project where I brought everybody in to play the parts, and I think you can hear it. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot more precise in some ways. And I still love playing with other people. And so it's right now, I think I'm finding that balance of control over the production while also enjoying working with others. But yeah, this is the first record that has been made since I kind of took ownership over the band.
Yeah, we can really tell. And just being conscious about time, we don't want to waste any of your time. And I think we've got plenty of answers here. We really, really appreciate it. And as always, with anyone that we managed to get on, is there anything you'd like to plug, or like any socials or any of that kind of thing?
No, just keep your eyes out for the record.
All right, so really, like,
ask a little
huge
question.
thank you to doing this. It has been a lot for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for, doing it.
I think me and Chris have one more thing to say, starting with Chris.
Sure.
Mine isn't as like important. I think it's just like because you said you like nerdy stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and all that. Like, do you remember any like funny campaigns you did that you can like summarize?
Oh,
you don't waste too much time.
Absolutely. Oh my god, my favorite thing that ever happened. We were doing a campaign, and it was like a custom one that our friend Jacob Mellon had written. He's the best DD ever. Yeah, dungeon or DM, not DD. Sorry. But there was this campaign. There were 7 of us, so this was a really big group, and it was too big. And there was this character, this bad guy, and he had been written as someone that we were not supposed to beat. He was supposed to fight us. We were going to get hurt, and he was going to run away. Right. Well, so this guy has a gun. Straight up, dude with a gun. Supposed to be a big bad.
The big
he's got
bad
this
evil
pistol.
guy of the campaign.
Big bad gun.
Exactly. And he was supposed to, fuck off and disappear, and we were gonna be like, what was that? But the thing is, there were 7 of us. And if you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, it's all square based, right? And so we are all standing in a circle around him. We get him cornered. And again, if you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, if somebody tries to run away, you have the what is it called? You have an advantage as they try and run. Basically, if you're in the square adjacent to them, And so the thing is, you have the option to attack. All 7 of us would have had the option to attack if he ran away. And so this guy couldn't run. And so we kill the shit out of him. This guy that we're not supposed to kill. That's not the funny part. The funny part is our DM is just like, okay, fuck, well, whatever. And then I'm like, can I have his gun? and
Campaign
and the
over.
DM is just like, okay, well, I don't have any reason that you can't, so fuck. I guess yeah, you can have his gun. The thing is, the only thing he could come up with to make it fair was that I had no skills with the weapon, and so I could use it, but I had to roll with a disadvantage. And so anytime I tried to use it, I would very often shoot my teammates on accident. And so yeah, I would use it to like threaten people, but I wouldn't actually be able to shoot it. So it was a really funny addition to the game, just getting a gun.
We'll call that
Yeah.
a 3+ to intimidation.
Yeah. Like, I
And
had
that's
that
and
moment, right?
that's how I used it. Is characters would just be like, "Whoa, what the fuck is that?" And that was it was
I
really
call
funny.
it the ancient blicky. I demand 500
Is it like a fantasy
gold.
setting?
It's a cursed blicky.
It was we were chasing a mind flayer. Like I don't know exactly. It was the first time that I had ever played. I can't remember exactly what the setting was.
I see.
Yeah, that seems quite fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the times that I played, right, and basically we were all like kidnapped onto a pirate ship, right? And the thing is that I was told, oh, if you want to convince them to like release you, right, and like work with them, right, you have to roll a 20 on like dice, right? And I did. And then we also have someone join in who put a bunch of stuff into charisma, but every single time they roll for charisma, they've gotten a 1, a 2, or they just didn't. That's it. That's it. It's just,
It just didn't.
just didn't work.
The classic
It's-
dice gods.
It's such a good game. There was also, I'll say quickly, one time our DM had planned out this giant fight that we were supposed to have. Like he had written this whole thing. It was going to be cool, but I had walked down like the guard's lodging and I like rolled for perception or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, there's a bunch of clothes in there or whatever." And I was like, "Okay." And so I just had all of us put on the clothes and act like 2 of us are prisoners. And I rolled for like persuasion. And I rolled a nat 20, and we just skipped the entire fight.
Easy win.
So yeah, great. It's such a good game. I want to play again, but it's been a while.
Well,
I've been busy.
Yeah.
hopefully you
Especially
get that
since you said you've been
opportunity.
busy.
Anyway, I do have to head out of here.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. I was gonna say as well. We should just.
Yeah, we
Like,
intended to
promotion.
wrap it up, and then Chris
Yeah.
hit you with a D&D.
Thank you very much. Is there anything you would like to say to the audience as a final message?
I'm excited for y'all to hear. The new record is called Rapture Waltz. We've got a single coming in December.
We're
Brilliant.
just as excited as you are.
Thank you very much for your time, Johnny. It's been an honor.
It has genuinely been an honor.
Thanks,
Very
guys.
much.
Y'all have a good one.
Day.
See you later.
Bye bye.